Hey there, have you ever wondered what people mean when they talk about the economy? It's a term that comes up a lot in conversations, news articles, and even political debates. But what does it actually mean? Well, in simple terms, the economy refers to the system by which a society or country manages its resources. This includes things like how goods and services are produced, distributed, and consumed within a specific geographic area. The economy is a really important part of our daily lives. It affects everything from the prices we pay for things like food and clothing, to the kinds of jobs that are available in our communities, and even the standard of living that we enjoy. And on a bigger scale, it's also a major factor in national and international politics, as governments and businesses compete for resources and markets. Now, let's be honest, understanding the economy can be pretty intimidating. It involves a lot of complex interactions between individuals, businesses, and governments, and it can be tough to keep up with all the different factors that can influence it. But here's the thing, even if you don't have a degree in economics, having a basic understanding of how the economy works can be really helpful. It can help you make smarter decisions about your own finances, understand what politicians and policymakers are talking about when they propose different economic policies, and even contribute to the public debate about important economic issues. So in this guide, we're going to break down the basics of the economy for you. We'll cover things like the different types of economic systems, key economic terms that you're likely to come across, the different market structures that exist, how international trade works, and the different macroeconomic policies that governments use to manage their economies. Let's dive deeper into one of its most fundamental components: economic systems. An economic system is basically the way that a society or country organizes the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. There are a few different types of economic systems out there, and each one has its own unique strengths and weaknesses. One type of economic system is capitalism. This is a system where individuals and businesses are free to own and operate their own enterprises, and prices for goods and services are determined by supply and demand in a competitive market. Supporters of capitalism argue that it encourages innovation and entrepreneurship, and can lead to economic growth and prosperity. However, critics point out that it can also lead to inequality and exploitation, as those with the most resources are often the ones who benefit the most. Another type of economic system is socialism. In a socialist system, the means of production are owned and controlled by the state, rather than by private individuals or businesses. Proponents of socialism argue that this can lead to greater equality and more efficient use of resources, as decisions about production and distribution are made with the needs of the community in mind. However, critics point out that it can also lead to inefficiencies and lack of innovation, as incentives for individuals to work hard and innovate may be reduced. A third type of economic system is mixed economy, which combines elements of both capitalism and socialism. In a mixed economy, there is a mix of privately owned businesses and state-owned enterprises, and the government plays a role in regulating the market and providing certain public services. Supporters of mixed economies argue that they offer the best of both worlds, combining the incentives for innovation and efficiency of capitalism with the safety nets and protections of socialism. Of course, these are just a few examples of the many different economic systems that exist out there. Each system has its own set of pros and cons, and there is ongoing debate among economists and policymakers about which approach is best for promoting economic growth and societal well-being. Let's move on to some key economic terms that you're likely to come across. Don't worry if some of these terms seem a bit confusing at first. We'll do our best to break them down in a way that's easy to understand. First up, let's talk about supply and demand. This is a fundamental concept in economics, and it refers to the relationship between the amount of a particular good or service that's available, the supply, and the amount that people want to buy, the demand. When there's a lot of demand for something but not a lot of supply, the price tends to go up. On the other hand, when there's a lot of supply but not a lot of demand, the price tends to go down. Understanding supply and demand is important for everything from setting prices for goods and services to predicting how changes in the economy will impact certain industries. Another important economic term is inflation. This refers to the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising over time. Inflation can have a big impact on everything from the cost of living to the value of investments. A certain amount of inflation is considered normal and even desirable in most economies, but too much inflation can lead to instability and economic downturns. Gross domestic product, or GDP, is another key economic term. This is basically the total value of all goods and services produced within a country's borders over a specific time period. GDP is often used as a measure of a country's economic health and can help policymakers make decisions about things like taxes and government spending. Other important economic terms include interest rates, the cost of borrowing money, fiscal policy, government decisions about taxes and spending, and monetary policy, decisions by a central bank about things like interest rates and the money supply. Each of these terms plays an important role in the functioning of the economy, and understanding them can help you make smarter financial decisions and stay informed about economic news. When we talk about market structures, we're really talking about the different ways that markets can be organized. Some markets are highly competitive, with lots of buyers and sellers all vying for business. Others are dominated by just a few big players, who have a lot of power to set prices and control the market. Let's dive in and explore some of these different market structures. First up, we have perfect competition. This is the idealized form of a market, where there are many buyers and sellers. No single participant is powerful enough to influence the market, and everyone has access to all relevant information. In a perfect competition market, prices are determined solely by supply and demand, and there's no room for anyone to manipulate the market for their own gain. At the other end of the spectrum, we have monopoly. This is a market in which a single seller controls the entire supply of a good or service. In a monopoly, the seller has complete control over the price of the good or service, and consumers have no other options. This is why governments often regulate monopolies without competition. The seller has no incentive to offer a fair price or innovate to improve their product. In between these two extremes, we have oligopoly, a market dominated by just a few large firms, monopolistic competition, a market with many firms selling slightly different products, and duopoly, a market with just two large firms. Each of these market structures has its own unique dynamics and challenges. Understanding market structures is important for everyone from business owners to policymakers. By knowing which market structure you're operating in, you can better anticipate competition, understand pricing trends, and make strategic decisions to grow your business. And by regulating markets to ensure fair competition, governments can protect consumers and promote innovation. Well, that's all we have for now on the topic of economics. We've covered a lot of ground, from what economics is and the different economic systems out there, to the key terms you need to know, and the different market structures that exist. We hope this text has given you a better understanding of economics and its role in our world. Whether you're a business owner, a student, or just someone interested in how the world works, economics is a fascinating and important subject to explore. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this text informative and engaging. Be sure to check out our other videos for more insights into the fascinating world of economics.